Coming in at number 10, Justin Bieber. Back in 2013, Justin Bieber's comments about Anne Frank sparked a massive backlash online. The singer had been in Europe for part of his tour and stopped by the Anne Frank Museum. According to their official Facebook page, here's what they said caused such an uproar. Yesterday night, Justin Bieber visited the Anne Frank house together with his friends and guards. Fans were waiting outside to see a glimpse of him. He stayed more than an hour in the museum. In our guest book, he wrote, "Truly inspiring to be able to come here. Anne was a great girl. Hopefully she would have been a believer." It was a truly embarrassing celebrity moment and showed Justin's true colors at the time. He really took an inspiring moment and made it all about himself somehow. But before we hit number 9, I need you guys to hit that like button because it really helps us out. Coming in at number 9, Jennifer Lawrence. It turns out that walking in heels while wearing a ball gown is probably not the best idea for Jennifer Lawrence. Her tripping incident from 2013 really set her off on the wrong foot, pun intended, as she would go on to trip at 2 more important red carpet events, but for now let's relive the 2013 situation. While heading to the stage to accept her Oscar for Best Actress, J-Law took a hard tumble in front of everyone. She did manage to get her bearings and pick herself back up, but this sparked the rumor mill like nothing else. Shortly after the event, Anderson Cooper actually accused her of faking the fall. This was obviously devastating because up until that point, nothing had humiliated her quite like that fall did. Jennifer ended up running into Anderson Cooper later on though and really gave him a piece of her mind. During an interview with People magazine, she said, "I'll tell you what, I saw him at a Christmas party and I let him know. My friend told me a vein was bulging out of my eyes. He apologized, I think we're good friends now. On my end, we're all good. What I led with was, have you ever tried to walk upstairs in a ball gown? So then how do you know?" He apologized immediately and said he didn't know and gave this wonderful apology. I was all fired up and he probably told everyone I was a psycho. Coming in at number 8, Reese Witherspoon.
Question I want to ask.
Go ahead. Come on.
You better not arrest me.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you kidding me?
No, I told you.
I'm an American citizen.
I told you to get in that car and stay in there, didn't I?
This is beyond.
Although it may be difficult to tell from that dashcam footage acquired by TMZ, but that is without a doubt Reese Witherspoon being arrested. As far as celebrity mugshots go, this one is certainly bizarre to see. Back in 2013, Reese and her husband Jim Todd happened to be driving in the wrong lane while in Atlanta. The worst part about that arrest video is later on when Reese starts pulling the celebrity classic line of, "Do you know who I am?" While the officer was speaking with her husband, Reese decided to just get out of the car to confront the cop, and right after he said, "Ma'am, get back in the car please," her husband was charged with driving under the influence, while Reese, who stated that she was a US citizen and that she was allowed to stand on American ground, was arrested for disorderly conduct. The couple were released from jail on bond at 3:30 a.m. the following day with a court appearance pending. I can't believe she said, "Do you know my name?" or "Do you know who I am?" Wild stuff. Coming in at number 7, Kristen Stewart. It was called The Kiss Heard Around the World. At the time, Kristen Stewart was in a long-time relationship with her Twilight co-star Robert Pattinson. Although while filming the movie Snow White and the Huntsman, she was spotted getting a little too cozy with the director Rupert Sanders. The photos were clearly snapped by a paparazzi lurking in the bushes because the pair did not even notice. In regards to these photos surfacing, she said, "I'm deeply sorry for the hurt and embarrassment I've caused to those close to me and everyone this has affected. This momentary indiscretion has jeopardized the most important thing in my life, the person I love and respect the most, Rob. I love him, I'm so sorry." Rob ended up forgiving Kristen because he didn't want to toss away a 3-year relationship for one infidelity, but they ended up breaking up anyways. Coming in at number 6, Brad Pitt. Well, we all saw this one coming, didn't we? No relationship that begins with people cheating ever ends with a happily ever after story. Brad originally cheated on Jennifer Aniston with Angelina Jolie after filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Angelina then suspected that Brad was cheating on her, so she hired a private eye who uncovered some very incriminating photos of her husband kissing his World War II co-star. A source close to Angelina said, "She hired a private eye because she felt that he was fooling around with her on the set, and it turns out he was. And that was the final straw." And indeed it was, because not too long after, Angelina Jolie filed for divorce. Coming in at number 5, Winona Ryder. Now when it comes to excuses for shoplifting, Winona Ryder takes the cake. Her week-long shoplifting trial in 2002 ended with a guilty verdict on the charges of grand theft and vandalism. This comes after she walked away with more than $5,500 in merchandise from Saks Fifth Avenue in Beverly Hills. She was however found not guilty of commercial burglary, which requires proof that she entered the store with intention to steal. Although interestingly enough, the store's security chief testified that the actress claimed her theft was just her way of getting into a character for an upcoming role. Man, what an excuse. She was sentenced to 3 years supervised probation, ordered to do 480 hours of community service, and fined a total of $2,700. Ryder was also ordered to pay compensation to Saks for the stolen items and undergo counseling. Coming in at number 4, Ryan Seacrest.
Pumped. As you should be. Well, I'm giving you a high five. Congratulations, there it is. And
this video of Ryan Seacrest trying to high five a blind man is peak cringe. Okay? My body feels like it turns inside out every time I watch it. On January 13th, 2009, during an episode of American Idol, a blind man named Scott finds out that all 4 judges have decided to put him through to the next round. As Scott comes back into the holding room to share the good news with his family, Seacrest looks noticeably impatient while standing by the door. As his family gets excited, Ryan goes for a high five, and the moment his hand comes up, you can see his brain just switch to panic mode, like once he realizes that Scott is about to just leave him hanging on live television. So in a bizarre series of events, Ryan reaches down and grabs his hand to just prompt a high five. It was hilariously awkward and certainly one celebrity moment that a lot of people have forgotten about. Until now. You're welcome. In at number 3, Janet Jackson. Back in 2004, during a halftime show at the Super Bowl, Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake were performing when all of a sudden Janet had a major wardrobe malfunction. Not a lot of people remember this, but for a long time and still to this day, it's just been referred to as Nipplegate. I don't even know if I could say that. The unfortunate celebrity moment all went down live on the CBS television network, and even though it was only for half a second, it led to an immediate crackdown and widespread debate on perceived indecency in broadcasting. Bizarrely, this incident became controversial, but not in terms of indecency. Some commenters believe that the entire thing was a planned publicity stunt, while others viewed it as a sign that America's morality was decreasing. Pretty sure it was just an unfortunate accident, but regardless, it still had a massive impact on American culture. Coming in at number 2, Steve Harvey.
I have to apologize. The first runner-up is Colombia. Universe 2015 is Philippines.
Back in 2015, many watched in awe as Steve Harvey made one of the greatest blunders in television history. Steve incorrectly announced that the winner of the Miss Universe contest was Colombia. As the celebration is happening and right as she gets crowned though, you just see poor Steve Harvey tuck his tail between his legs and march back out to correct his mistake. It was definitely hard to watch, but man, you gotta commend Steve for just owning up to his mistakes like that. Realizing that Miss Philippines was the actual winner, he came back out and corrected it without even blaming anyone for his mistake. Last but certainly not least, at our number 1 spot, Lindsay Lohan. Back in 2018, while Lindsay Lohan was in Moscow, she posted a live video to Instagram where she told her fans that she spotted 2 young boys that she believed were human trafficking victims. In the video, Lohan approaches this family of what she says are Syrian refugees sitting on a sidewalk under some blankets.
Tell me your story so I can help you. Michelle, tell me your story so I can help you.
Now, the fact that she wants to help this family is nice, but what's not nice is the fact that she also had to live stream this on her Instagram. Lohan tries to offer them a hotel room and suggests that the boys could maybe watch movies or on her TV or computer, but when the mother refuses to let her children just leave with Lindsay Lohan, the actress actually says to the mother, "You should not have them on the floor. You should be a hardworking woman and you should be doing what you can for your children, so they have a better life." The family then tries to walk away from this conversation, but Lohan continues to stalk this family, and even starts accusing the mother of trafficking her own children. Which leads us to this really embarrassing moment for Lindsay Lohan.
Give me your hand. Give me your hand.
After Lindsay just tries to run off with one of these children, the mother spins around and cracks Lohan with a punch, knocking her to the ground. Ah, a true dumb celebrity moment we should have all never forgotten about.
At number 10, Harry Styles. Harry Styles is probably one of the most unproblematic celebrities out there. He's a wholesome, lovable guy who every mom would love for their child to bring home. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he isn't subject to having some unfortunate moments. One of Harry's worst moments came from back in 2014 while at the Brit Awards with One Direction. The band had won the Global Success Award, and as the group went up to accept the reward, they noticed that Harry was MIA. Well, the show went on and the lads started accepting the award without Harry, at least until this happened.
Hey, are you talk? I'm really sorry I was having a wee. The toilets are ages away. What did we win? I thank the fans and everyone.
Harry ran up to the stage halfway through their acceptance, admitting that he was in the bathroom and was late getting back. It was embarrassing to admit, but probably not as embarrassing as being caught asking what they'd even won. Poor Harry must have been blushing a bit after that one. At number 9, Fergie. 2005 was a rough time for singer Fergie because she had a bit of an embarrassing scandal in the media that year. The Black Eyed Peas, the group that Fergie was a part of, was scheduled to perform at a concert in San Diego one evening, but they were running terribly behind due to traffic. By the time the group got to the venue, there was no time for them to do anything else but get on stage and start performing. This would turn out to be a very unfortunate setback for Fergie, because what people came to later discover is that Fergie really needed to use the washroom before getting up on stage. Since there was no time for that, she ignored Nature's call and started performing. Not too long into her performance, Nature called again, and this time the call was being answered whether she liked it or not. Soon enough, fans at the concert started to notice a growing dark stain on the front of Fergie's khaki shorts, as her bladder just couldn't hold it in anymore and she peed her pants. But hey, she kept performing, and that's what I call bravery and determination. Before we continue on with the video, please do consider leaving a like on it because your support really does mean a lot to us. At number 8, Ashley Simpson. This moment is often referred to as the worst moment in SNL history. Whether that's true or not is up to you, but I have to admit it's pretty bad. In 2004, Ashley Simpson was on SNL to perform a few of her songs to promote her album Autobiography. The first song she performed was her song Pieces of Me, and that performance went well, but the second song, not so much. As the band set up for the next song, the track for Pieces of Me started playing again with vocals, revealing that Ashley had been lip-syncing that whole time. Clearly embarrassed, Ashley froze for a second and then started doing an embarrassing jig before running off the stage as the show cut to commercial. Some say that her career never really recovered from that moment, but years later she offered an explanation as to why she was lip-syncing, saying that she had terrible acid reflux and her father was the one who suggested having a backing track. All in all, it was a very embarrassing moment, and it was career-altering as well. At number 7, John Travolta. In 2014, John Travolta created one heck of a meme. At the Oscars that year, Idina Menzel was supposed to perform Let It Go for the movie Frozen, and John Travolta was supposed to introduce her to the stage. Well, instead of introducing Idina, he instead welcomed someone named Adele Dazeem.
Let It Go from the Oscar-winning animated movie Frozen. Please welcome the wickedly talented one and only Adele Dazeem.
While it was embarrassing for both parties, as it created memes within minutes and was even the subject of a John Travolta name generator where it would scramble your name like Adele Dazeem, there was actually an explanation for the whole unfortunate mishap. According to John, Idina's name had been changed on the teleprompter at the last minute so that it was spelled phonetically. John hadn't rehearsed with the name spelt like that, and so it messed him up. And then Adele Dazeem was born. At number 6, Kelly Osbourne. During an episode of The View, Kelly Osbourne really messed up while she was trying to clap back at Donald Trump. Just shortly before that episode, Donald Trump, who was at the time a presidential nominee, was saying offensive things about the Latinx community and how he wanted to deport them. Remember all that jazz? Yeah. Well, in a very poor attempt at clapping back, Kelly said, quote, "If you kick every Latina out of this country, then who's going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?" Instead of defending the Latinx community like she set out to do, she ended up offending them even.
Not help. And if you kick every Latino out of this country, then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?
Even more, as her remarks were interpreted as saying that the Latinx community is only good for being housekeepers, like the offensive stereotype depicts. She later issued an apology saying, quote, "I want to start by saying I always take responsibility for my actions. In this particular case, I will take responsibility for my poor choice of words, but I will not apologize for being racist as I am not," end quote. Though it's forgotten about now, it was still one of Kelly's worst moments. At number 5, Sean Penn. At the 2015 Academy Awards, Sean Penn was announcing the award for Best Picture. Before reading the name of the winner, Alejandro G. Iñárritu, he made a joke that definitely did not land. Before announcing Alejandro as the winner, Sean joked saying, quote, "Who gave this son of a bitch his green card?" Ugh.
Who gave this son of a bitch his green card? Birdman.
Sean's joke was seen as highly offensive and racist, as one person online explained, quote, "The struggles people endure for immigration justice are not punchlines." As Alejandro is Mexican, this joke was definitely uncalled for and inappropriate. Some defended Sean, saying that he only made the joke because they'd been friends for about a decade, but others made the argument that, quote, "A director of color can't accept an Oscar without being the butt of a racist joke." The award show was supposed to be a scandal-free evening, but instead news outlets took to broadcasting Sean's offensive remark, making this one of his worst moments. At number 4, Sacha Baron Cohen. Sacha Baron Cohen is known for his wild characters. From Bruno to Borat, he seems to live most of his life in character, and this was seemingly no exception at the Academy Awards in 2012. Sacha walked the red carpet in character as Admiral General Shahbaz al-Din from his film The Dictator, and along with being accompanied by 2 bodyguards, he had a prop with him, a golden urn filled with the ashes of North Korean Premier Kim Jong-il. While walking the red carpet, he stopped to be interviewed by Ryan Seacrest, and then...
The interesting thing is it's actually made by South Korea. No, sorry. You've got Kim Jong.
Sacha dumped the ashes on Ryan, ruining his suit and causing a scene. Weeks later, we found out that Sacha's original target was George Clooney, but since it was a big night for him, they skipped Clooney and the unfortunate prank landed on Ryan instead. After that, Ryan purposely steered clear of Sacha, refusing to interview him, and the Academy has since been vigilant of Sacha's stunts, though they haven't really been able to stop them ever since. At number 3, Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj is known for being a little out there with her music and performances. She likes to take creative liberties, but her 2012 Grammys performance may have gone a little bit too far. The night was seemingly dedicated to promoting her new song, Roman Holiday, as she filled her night with references to Catholicism. First, she walked the red carpet accompanied by someone portraying the Pope, but this all came to a head during her performance, where she depicted a mock confessional and exorcism and danced alongside people dressed as altar boys and monks. Nicki's performance was deemed controversial as it really angered the Catholic League. The league's president had a lot to say about the performance, calling it vulgar and questioning how the performance got approved, and saying, quote, "Whether Minaj is possessed is surely an open question, but what is not in doubt is the irresponsibility of the Recording Academy. Never would they allow an artist to insult Judaism or Islam," end quote. Nicki had said that this was part of a character that she had been writing a story for, as he would play a significant role in her music to come, but judging by the fact that she so deeply offended the Catholic League, I'd say that it was one of her worst moments. At number 2, Shia LaBeouf. In 2013, Shia LaBeouf was caught in a scandal after he plagiarized a graphic novel by Daniel Clowes in his short film HowardCantor.com. The short film debuted at the Cannes Film Festival in 2012, but after it was posted online in 2013, fans realized that the plot was almost entirely taken from a graphic novel. Well, after being caught, he apologized, and you would have thought that he'd learned his lesson getting caught plagiarizing, but no. Instead, he was caught plagiarizing again in his own apology. Shia's apology said, quote, "Merely copying isn't particularly creative work, though it's useful as training practice. Being inspired by someone else's idea to produce something new and different is creative work, and it may even revolutionize the stolen concept," end quote. Someone noticed that this seemed a little familiar, and so after some digging, it was discovered that this apology was essentially copy and pasted from a Yahoo Answers reply to the question, "Why did Picasso say good artists copy but great artists steal?" He obviously didn't learn his lesson the first time, so this is arguably one of his worst moments. And finally, at number 1, Kanye West. Kanye West is an outspoken dude. No matter the circumstance or setting, Kanye would do whatever he wants when he feels like it. One example of this has to come from his commentary on the situation in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina hit Louisiana back in 2005. After the tragic storm passed through the area, celebrities were gathered to do a televised fundraiser to help those affected. Teleprompters were set up for the stars to read statements and encourage people to donate, but Kanye decided to ad-lib a bit, and he had some thoughts on the situation.
Too hard to watch. I've even been shopping before even giving a donation, so now I'm calling my business manager right now to see what is the biggest amount I can give.
Kanye went on a tangent about how he feels for the people affected, especially the black families struggling to stay safe and fed, saying that he wanted to donate as much as he could to the cause. He went on for a while, and after he passed it back to Mike Myers, who he was presenting with, Kanye took the attention back and then said the infamous line,
"Remain in the area. The destruction of the spirit of the people of southern Louisiana and Mississippi may end up being the most tragic loss of all."
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
They immediately cut the broadcast from them and went over to someone else, and Kanye's remarks were made famous, but probably not in the best way. Either way, it was one of his worst moments. Now, at number 10, Logan Paul. The Paul brothers are always in some kind of trouble in some form or another. Between Jake and his Team 10 drama and now his boxing antics, to Logan and his own scandals, they've certainly got a reputation for being troublesome on the internet. But out of all of Logan's scandals, his worst moment has to be the release of his Japanese forest video. Back in 2017, Logan Paul took a trip to Japan, and while he was there, he and some friends decided to visit a forest located at the edge of Mount Fuji, allegedly to document the eerie nature and, quote, supernatural-like feeling of the forest. While they were there filming, Logan found a body of an individual who had taken their own life in the forest, and he filmed it. Later, he posted it on YouTube with the title, "We found a dead body in the Japanese forest." His video came with outrage from fans and other celebrities who were taken aback by the disrespect and graphic nature of the video. As a result of the backlash, Logan was hit with a huge scandal and lost a number of brand deals as well. He was featured on news outlets and was dubbed the most hated man on the internet basically overnight. He's since recovered from the scandal and is now turning his attention to boxing like his brother, but this scandal still makes for one of Logan's worst moments. At number 9, Ariana Grande. One celebrity that you don't often see getting into any conflicts is Ariana Grande. For the most part, the singer keeps to herself and doesn't really make many waves in the media. But maybe that's because of the scandal that befell her back in 2015. Ariana was caught in a scandal that year after being exposed for her behavior while visiting a bakery in California. Surveillance cameras in the donut shop caught the singer licking donuts while the employees weren't looking, and even caught her yelling about her distaste for America. The footage was leaked and shared by TMZ, and though we all thought that the donut licking was the end of it, we were wrong. The owner of the donut shop came out after the footage was leaked, saying that Ariana was caught spitting on some of the donuts as well, and that she was reportedly very rude to staff working there, demanding that the person helping her keep bringing out the pastries that the other employees were baking. On top of that, the shop's owner said that the donuts that were defiled by Ariana were unknowingly sold to other customers that day. Ariana issued an apology for her actions and said that her remarks about how she hates America was in reference to the obesity in the country, and seeing how bad the donuts were made her upset. Either way, her behavior wasn't ideal, and it's one of her worst moments. Now, before I continue on with our list, please do consider leaving a like on this video, and if you're feeling adventurous, why not head over to the Viper Girl channel and hit that subscribe button while you're there if you're in the mood for some gaming content and more fun with moi. At number 8, Liam Neeson. In 2019, actor Liam Neeson did an interview for his role in Cold Pursuit, and in this interview, he spoke about how he could relate to the character he played. In the film, he played a father trying to avenge his son's death, and he said that he was able to relate to this character's plight for vengeance because he once tried to do the same thing. The actor told the interviewer that his friend once told him that they were and so for days following the incident, Liam would apparently walk up and down streets with a heavy bat of some kind, waiting for an altercation. He said that since his friend's attacker was described as a man, he said that he was hoping that someone would, quote, come out of a pub and have a go at me about something, end quote. Definitely one of the worst interviews he could have given, admitting that he sought out violence against a man to atone for the actions of presumably someone else. At number 7, Vanessa Hudgens. One thing that unfortunately a lot of celebrities face is having their private photos leaked to the public. Sometimes stars are able to brush it off, but depending on their career and demographic, these actions may have varying consequences. In 2007, Vanessa Hudgens was one celebrity who had to face the scrutiny of having her pictures leaked, and since she was a Disney star at the time, since High School Musical was in full force at the time of this scandal, things were very difficult for her. Vanessa described the trauma that she felt at this time, having her privacy taken away from her, and the embarrassment that she felt, as well as being a role model for young fans of hers and letting them down. Though this was no fault of her own, she still issued an apology for her fans for this unfortunate incident and for having taken those photos in the first place. In recent years, Vanessa has proven to be much stronger after this incident and says that she is a, quote, big advocate of being true to herself regardless of whether people like it or not. Even though this wasn't a scandal based on her own wrongdoings, it was still one of the worst moments that she's faced. At number 6, Tom Brady. Now, I can't say that I'm the biggest football fan ever because I barely understand the game. I root for the Miami Dolphins because my uncle told me to, and that's about it. I watch the Super Bowl for the commercials and the halftime show and go on my merry way because that's the extent of my football attention span. But in 2015, going on your merry way was a little harder to do as the AFC Championship game was also shrouded in scandal that year, and all eyes were on Tom Brady. The Deflategate scandal, as was dubbed by news sources, saw Tom Brady caught in the middle of a huge sporting controversy after it was discovered that the balls used at the championship were deflated and that he allegedly knew about this. It was theorized that the balls could have been deflated to help Brady's grip and to make it easier for other players to catch and hold on to the balls. As a result of the scandal, Tom Brady was due to miss the first 4 games of the season, the Patriots were fined $1 million, and the team lost 2 draft picks as well. It was bad press for Brady and probably one of his worst moments. At number 5, One Direction. In 2014, while I and many other teens were obsessing over One Direction, the boy band came into some controversy after a video was leaked which showed Louis Tomlinson and Zayn Malik smoking that green, talking about drugs, and just being not very family friendly. The band was a hit with young teens, so this video coming out showing a more adult side of the boys was certainly not good press for them. The video was taken during the Latin American leg of their 2014 stadium tour on their way to one of their concerts. The footage was leaked by the Daily Mail and certainly caused a stir. Though in the grand scheme of things, it's not really that big of a deal since nowadays many celebrities post videos and photos of them with La Ganja, but this being 2014 and a huge band with thousands of young fans, a scandal like this wasn't a good look for the boys. There was reportedly conflict between the bandmates after this, and one has to wonder if this incident was part of the fuel that eventually broke the band up. At number 4, T.I. In November of 2019, rapper T.I. was a guest on the Ladies Like Us podcast for their Life Hacks episode. During this episode, the rapper opened up about his daughter and how he monitors her virginity. I know it's a little weird. It's a lot weird. The rapper said that he takes his daughter to yearly gyno appointments to make sure that her hymen is still intact. A woman's hymen is commonly associated with a woman's virginity, even though there are many other ways that it could possibly be broken other than sex. T.I. doesn't really get that, it seems, and he accompanies his daughter to appointments to make sure that it's still intact. In the podcast, he said, quote, "So we'll go and sit down and the doctor will come out and talk. He's like, you know, sir, I have to in order to share information. I'm like, Deja, they want you to sign this so we can share information. Is there anything you wouldn't want me to know? See, doc, no problem." And so then they come out and say, well, I just want you to know that there are other ways besides sex that the hymen can be broken, like bike riding, athletics, horseback riding, and other forms of physical activity. So I say, look, doc, she don't ride no horses, she don't ride no bike, she don't play no sports. Just check the hymen, please, and give me back my results. End quote. He later goes on to remark how no one would want to be with his daughter if she's still a virgin, saying, quote, "Who wants to be with a virgin? Like really, all that work." His actions and words really angered a lot of people, making for a pretty bad moment for him. At number 3, Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson was still riding his wave of success from his time starring in the Twilight films, and in 2011 he was doing a press tour for his film Water for Elephants, which takes place at a traveling circus. During the interview, Robert was asked about circuses and whether he ever wanted to join the circus when he was a kid. Robert replied saying that he never did on account of an incident that happened when he was a kid, the first time he ever went to a circus. He then told a story about how a clown had died when his tiny car exploded in front of the audience and that it traumatized him, preventing him from ever wanting to return to the circus again. It all sounded like a horrible story and a horrible encounter for a young Robert, at least until everyone found out that the entire story was a lie. He made up the story about the clown because he apparently had nothing interesting to say in response to the interviewer's question, and it was just really cringy. At number 2, Kendall Jenner. A 2017 Pepsi commercial did more harm than good for Kendall Jenner after the advert was heavily criticized for its content. The commercial followed a protest for some unknown cause and other people drinking Pepsi products and joining in on the march. Kendall Jenner is seen in the commercial and leaves her photo shoot to join the protest, and as the crowd approaches a group of police officers, Kendall takes it upon herself to offer a can of Pepsi to one officer, who accepts it, and then they all cheer and dance. Seems like a nice fluffy piece, but it was far from that in the eyes of many. Many thought that this ad was preying on the Black Lives Matter movement and commercializing it, therefore diminishing the message that the movement sends and appropriating the movement following the shootings of Black people. The company claimed that they were looking to share a message of unity in the advertisement, but they definitely missed the mark and issued an apology as well as pulling the commercial. For Kendall, though, things were difficult. She was seen on Keeping Up with the Kardashians talking about how the commercial backlash affected her, saying that she felt bad about it, but the fans weren't quick to forgive her. All in all, it was a bad situation 2013, and Kendall felt the heat. And finally at number 1, Paula Deen. Paula Deen was once seen as a wholesome Southern lady who loved to cook, but after 2013 she was seen as a racist, and things have never really been the same to the TV personality. In 2013, Paula was facing a lawsuit from one of her former employees who alleged that she endured racism and harassment while working at one of Paula's restaurants. After being deposed, the truth came out after Paula was asked if she had ever used the N-word, and she said yes. Paula said that she used it on a few occasions when talking about a black man that she had once seen, as well as some other times. After this came out, the floodgates opened, and more racist accounts came out about Paula, including a claim that she wanted her black employees to act as slaves during an event that was being hosted at one of their establishments. Later, footage surfaced which showed Paula sympathizing with her slave-owning ancestors. After this, her contract with Food Network ended, and her reputation was tarnished after she was exposed for being racist. Definitely one of the worst career moments. At number 10, Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X has been on a roll with his music lately, but with success comes a lot of attention, and when you get attention from the wrong people, bad things can happen. On March 26, 2021, Lil Nas X released his song Montero, or Call Me By Your Name, and both the song and subsequent music video was hit with a lot of backlash. The song itself was about a man he met in 2020 who was living a lifestyle of partying and using substances, who he was seeing. The song included some adult themes, as it would, but the majority of the backlash for this release came from the rapper's music video. The video had a heaven and hell theme and included Nas dancing for the devil, so to speak. A lot of people didn't like the video because of how raunchy it was and because of the biblical imagery and themes. But as if that wasn't enough backlash, Nas also got into some pretty big trouble when he released a collaborative shoe with Mischief that they called the Satan shoe. These kicks were a redesign of the Nike Air Max 97s, and because this design wasn't authorized by Nike, Nas and Mischief got in trouble. They also faced backlash for putting a quote, single drop of human blood in the sole of the shoe. For a couple of weeks, Nas faced all kinds of backlash, but he did not let that knock him down. At number 9, Kim K and Kanye. Another scandal that unfolded this year was the breakup between Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. After getting married in 2014 and welcoming 4 kids together, the couple decided to end their marriage, and it had everyone talking. Kim and Kanye's relationship looked like it had been on its last leg for a while, especially after all the drama between Kanye and the Kardashians following his presidential campaign rant and Twitter meltdowns, and all the statements that the Kardashians had to make on Kanye's behalf. There was, however, a lot more going on behind the scenes that we didn't quite know about, and as this information started coming out, the scandal just got bigger. Every episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians was just another opportunity to fans to dig deeper into Kim's failing marriage and to see where things really went wrong. Since the initial announcement, things have died down a bit, but as more information comes out, like Kanye seeing someone new, fans hop right back on that tea spill train. Now before I carry on with the list, I would like to take a moment to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and also consider taking some time to check out my gaming channel Viper Girl. It's super fun and I upload daily, so come check it out and subscribe while you're there. At number 8, Armie Hammer. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this scandal by now, but this one had to be on this list because it was the first one that really blew up this year, and it had everyone talking as it involved a more serious issue. Back in January, some of Armie's private messages with other women came to light, depicting the actor in a not so flattering way. The messages leaked by the Instagram page House of Effie exposed the actor for his bedroom fantasies, among other adult things, and created a snowball effect that led to people coming forward with their own allegations of misconduct against the actor. Things took a serious turn, and soon an investigation was launched into some of the claims made by some of Armie's alleged victims. Because of the scandal and its severity, this took a huge toll on Armie and his career. As we know, no one is quick to forget a scandal like this in the world of Hollywood, and so as a result of the drama and allegations against him, Armie started losing everything he worked for, including movie roles and representation in the industry. No one knows what the next step is for him, or even if there is a next step for him to take. At number 7, Marilyn Manson. Another really huge scandal that happened this year came from singer Marilyn Manson, and it shocked a lot of people. It all started when his ex-partner, actress Evan Rachel Wood, came forward in an Instagram post to name Manson as someone who had harmed her for a long time. In her statement, Evan cited how manipulative Marilyn was, accused him of brainwashing her, and told her fans about how Manson caused her so much mental, physical, and emotional pain. This caused more people to come forward later on, including Game of Thrones actress Esme Bianco, who came forward with some horrible encounters that she had with Manson. Following this scandal, Manson was dropped from his music label and the LA County Sheriff's Department began an investigation into some of the allegations against the singer. Manson has hit rock bottom in his career and social status, which honestly seems only fair given the pain that he's caused so many other people. At number 6, Chris Harrison. What's reality TV without a little scandal, right? I mean, with every season of The Bachelor or Bachelorette, there's at least one scandal, but this time was different because it was much more serious and it led to someone losing their job. The show's longtime host Chris Harrison landed himself in some hot water this year after he started facing backlash for comments that he made about one of the contestants' past. At the beginning of the Bachelor season earlier this year, photos of one of the Bachelor contestants were leaked which showed her in a few compromising situations, specifically of her attending an antebellum themed party, and many fans saw this as highly offensive and racist. When this scandal first broke, a conversation was obviously sparked, but when asked about his take on the situation, Chris ended up offending people as he responded saying that it was just in the past. In an interview on Extra with former Bachelor/Bachelorette contestant Rachel Lindsay, when asked about this contestant's controversial photos, Chris seemingly was dismissive of her actions, of her being at this party, and continued to try and defend his stance by saying that he didn't want to make any comments before the contestant in question had spoken out first. Instead of helping the situation, fans of the show saw this as perpetuating racism, and so he was cancelled. As a result of this, Chris was let go from the show, and many are under the impression that he will not be returning anytime soon, if at all. At number 5, Chrissy Teigen. For Chrissy Teigen, the internet hasn't been the greatest place to be after she got cancelled for bullying Courtney Stodden when they were younger. Chrissy had some old tweets and DMs leaked which showed some very offensive messages to Courtney from back when they were still a teenager. Courtney rose to fame after they married Doug Hutchison when they were still very young, and this sparked international attention and also seemingly saw Chrissy turn into a very mean person as they allegedly sent a number of hateful messages to Courtney. Courtney spoke out about how they received such hateful messages from Chrissy, where they said that these hateful messages and harassment that they received from Chrissy back then came during a very hard time in their life and didn't really help them navigate the pain that they were feeling at the time. Chrissy has since apologized to Courtney for her actions, but after seeing many of the messages and tweets, a lot of fans aren't quick to forget what Chrissy has done. Chrissy has even started losing work because of this, so this scandal isn't done affecting her life just yet. At number 4, DaBaby. This one is still fairly new, but rapper DaBaby is the latest celebrity to be cancelled, and this controversy comes after he said some pretty offensive things while on stage performing at Rolling Loud in Miami. While on stage, the rapper made some comments about the gay community as well as HIV and AIDS, calling it a quote, deadly sexually transmitted disease that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks, end quote. He also went on to say some more homophobic things about gay men to add fuel to the fire. Celebrities like Dua Lipa and Elton John have condemned the rapper's comments and tried to educate the public on what DaBaby said, how it was wrong, and are trying to educate the public specifically on HIV and AIDS to put the stigma spread by DaBaby's comments to rest. Because of the scandal, the rapper is in some deep trouble with a lot of fans, especially those in the LGBT community. At number 3, Bill and Melinda Gates. Another celebrity breakup that caused quite the scandal was that between Bill and Melinda Gates. The Microsoft co-founder and his philanthropist wife recently announced to the public that they had made the difficult decision to separate, ending their marriage of 27 years. Together, the couple have 3 adult children and even created a foundation together which they launched back in 2000. The couple released a statement on social media that read, quote, "After a great deal of thought and a lot of work in our relationship, we have made the decision to end our marriage. Over the last 27 years, we have raised 3 incredible children and built a foundation that works all over the world to enable people to live healthy, productive lives. We continue to share a belief in that mission, but we no longer believe we can grow together as a couple in the next phase of our lives." After they announced their separation, people started wondering why they called it quits, and it was alleged that this idea to divorce started years ago as Melinda put things in order to leave her husband after he got too close to Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of drama and scandal came out of a simple divorce, but we'll just have to wait and see what's next. At number 2, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Earlier this year, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry sat down for an exclusive interview with Oprah where they went in depth about their split from the royal family as well as their feelings of having been a part of it. A lot of information was shared as they opened up a lot about their life, and it ended up causing quite the controversy. The couple spoke a lot about their perspective in the royal family, speaking out about their mental health, and Meghan even opened up saying that there was a time where she wanted to take her own life. That last comment is what really caused a stir as people started questioning her mental health and whether that statement was actually true or not. The biggest debate came from TV presenter Piers Morgan, and he had a lot to say about Meghan and the interview, so much so that he ended up losing his job because he went overboard with the criticisms and hate. This interview was just supposed to be a casual thing, but because of all the information that was shared that day, it blew up into a huge scandal that was in the news for weeks. And finally, at number 1, Britney Spears. Probably the biggest scandal to come out this year is the Free Britney movement and the drama surrounding her conservatorship. Basically, after that Britney Spears documentary was released months ago, people really got to see what Britney's life was like behind the scenes and how the people around her led to where she is today. The biggest concern with this movement is regarding her conservatorship, as the public learned what the singer can and cannot do. Many people are saying that this hold on her life is too extreme, and there's a battle to get her out of her conservatorship held by her father Jamie. It seems as though every week there is a development in that whole battle, but hopefully the next development we see is a truly free Britney.
Beginning the list at number 10 is Logan Paul's YouTube video. It has been 4 years since he posted this YouTube video that ended his entire YouTube career. He was once one of the biggest YouTubers in the world until he posted a vlog video of him and some friends going to the famous Japanese suicide forest. In the video, they actually came across a real dead body of someone who took their own life, and in his video, they are kind of making light of the situation. He lost everything, all brand deals, including a partnership with Google's preferred program, which is worth millions of dollars. He was able to build back an audience and create the biggest podcast in the world, but then that video came back to haunt him. In December of 2020, he was sued by a movie company called Plainless Pictures, who claimed that he signed a deal with them back in 2016 to make a movie called Airplane Mode. In the lawsuit, it states that he was supposed to star in it and help write and produce it and distribute it through YouTube. Apparently, there was a $3 million licensing deal with Google, and since Logan obviously lost his partnership with Google, their movie plan just came crashing down. And now they want him to pay up 4 years later. That sucks. Coming in at number 9 is Donald Trump's tweets. I know what you're thinking. Which ones? He's always been known for his ridiculous tweets, but one Twitter moment isn't aging very well right now. Back in 2017, during his first year as president, he did an interview and told the Financial Times, "Without the tweets, I wouldn't be here. I don't regret anything because there is nothing you can do about it. You know, if you issue hundreds of tweets and every once in a while you get a clunker, that's not so bad." So without the tweets, he wouldn't be here as president, is what he said. Kind of ironic when thinking about what is happening during these times. His Twitter account was suspended and then banned, along with the rest of his social media. And Joe Biden won the election, and he was officially removed from the White House. So maybe without his tweets, he really won't be here anymore. We're not really sure. I feel like he's gonna somehow try to make a new Twitter account. Yeah. I don't know. Up next, number 8 is moments from the script in Glee. This one is more serious than some of the other ones on our list. There have been many theories that the TV show Glee has foreshadowed the future deaths of some of its stars. One eerie example is the actor Mark Salling, who played Puck on the show. The odd foreshadowing was in season 2, episode 15, when his character Puck and another character, Lauren, are planning to make a sex tape to make Lauren famous. A substitute teacher in the show says to them, I quote, "You do realize that making a sex tape will make you both guilty of creating and owning CP." This specific scene did not age well because in real life in 2015, Mark was arrested on suspicion of possessing several thousand images of CP following a tip-off to police by one of his ex-girlfriends. A search warrant was issued and they found more than 50,000 images downloaded on his computer and USB flash drives. He pleaded guilty in court in September 2017 and was expected to serve between 4 to 7 years in jail and would have to register as a sex offender. But while he was awaiting a sentence, he was found dead by suicide. Sliding into number 7 is Jimmy Fallon doing blackface. Any blackface moment isn't right at any point in time, but Jimmy's moment seemed to get pushed under the rug until it resurfaced many years later. Old footage surfaced during the height of the 2020 Black Lives Matter movement and showed Jimmy Fallon on SNL doing blackface. The footage shows sketches he did from 2 decades ago where he impersonated fellow comedian Chris Rock while in blackface makeup. Jimmy immediately took responsibility for it though and issued an apology saying, "In 2000, while on SNL, I made a terrible decision to do an impersonation of Chris Rock while in blackface. There is no excuse for this. I am very sorry for making this unquestionably offensive decision, and thank you all for holding me accountable." No matter when this footage resurfaced, he would have faced a ton of backlash because our eyes have been more opened more this past year to the racism that exists in our world and has always existed, but often overlooked. So no matter what point in time, this video would have been bad. However, he got away with it back then. So, making her way into number 6 is Michelle Phan and her essential oils. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, many influencers have spread misinformation about essential oils, but Michelle was the first to do it, so it did not age well as the virus got significantly worse and has lasted over a year already. Some people believe that essential oils have antiviral properties and could protect you against the COVID-19 virus. However, studies have shown that there is very little evidence of this being true. Back in February, at the start of this whole pandemic, beauty guru Michelle Phan posted on her Instagram about using an antiviral essential oil kit to kill off the virus before it enters your system. She wrote, "Our first point of contact for viruses is our nose. If you are burning antiviral essential oils around you, this will kill off the virus before it enters your system." Many people chimed in on this topic, and Dr. Pimple Popper was one of them. She reposted it on Twitter and said, "Sorry, antiviral essential oils don't exist." This definitely did not age well, seeing as the virus has been going on for over a year now and has killed hundreds of thousands of people. I don't think essential oils is or ever was the solution to COVID-19. Halfway through our list at number 5 is Charli D'Amelio hanging out with friends. The 16-year-old TikTok star once went on her Instagram live stream and talked about the importance of staying home and social distancing. She even decided to tweet out her feelings about seeing other people online hanging out with their friends. She posted, "If you're using this time to hang out with your friends since you don't have school, please, I'm asking you, please stop being so inconsiderate to others." It was great to see her being responsible, but that went away very quickly after fans started calling her out for filming videos with a group of friends and going on vacation to the Bahamas with people, obviously friends and family, just days after she posted that. She was caught posing with groups of fans while she was on vacation. People are now ridiculing her for her past statements on not leaving your home unless you have to. Vacation is not a have to. Sniping our number 4 spot is Bella Thorne's lyrics. She recently put out a song called SFB, which means stupid effing B word, and it was written about her ex-girlfriend Tana Mojo. The song basically calls her an SFB and talks about how awful she is, claiming that Tana only used her for clout. She even put out a music video for it and had someone play Tana in the video with a very similar look to her. A pretty bold move for an ex to do, celebrity or not. And although some people saw this as an epic diss track, that didn't last long because Tana exposed that Bella had been calling her non-stop after the release of this song. So the diss track did not age very well because you wouldn't be calling someone a SFB if you're just gonna be calling them after you release this video. Like, it just didn't make sense. In the 3rd spot is Ava Louise creates a TikTok challenge. So she's not technically a celebrity. The only reason she became known as an online influencer is because she invented a TikTok challenge that went viral. But she is kind of famous now if you go check her out. She was just a 21-year-old New Jersey college student when she made up a fake coronavirus challenge and videotaped herself licking an airplane toilet seat. This caused others to start filming themselves licking public toilet seats and calling it a coronavirus challenge. At first, it was probably all fun and games as she didn't take the virus very seriously, but this got old very fast because the virus started taking lives of many people and the whole toilet seat joke thing just was no longer funny. I mean, was it ever funny? I couldn't believe that people would even start doing this challenge or be dumb enough to like pretend to do it. She received a ton of hate for it and later admitted in a YouTube video that she did it to get attention online. So she got what she wanted, really. I mean, she has tons of followers now and stuff. In our number 2 spot is the horrific time that Ryan Seacrest high-fived a blind person. This is the type of situation that doesn't even have to age bad, it is just bad from the start. It was back in 2009 when Ryan was the host on American Idol and did an interview with a contestant that was moving on in the competition. Ryan, however, forgot that he was blind, and while doing the interview, he tried to high-five him. The moment was incredibly uncomfortable for everyone, and if you haven't seen it, Ryan basically starts trying to talk to him through the high five and like pretends he was doing that the whole time, like he didn't mean to do it. He tried to make it seem like he didn't forget that he was blind, but we all knew and understood what exactly happened. No matter how old the video clip gets, it still does not get easier to watch. You guys should seriously go watch it. It's cringeworthy. Earning a #1 spot is Chris D'Elia realizing something about Snapchat. At first, it was just a funny video clip of Chris doing an interview one time and learning that Snapchat content can be saved. He was on the comedy podcast, The Fighter and the Kid, and they were talking about a teacher sending photos to a 15-year-old student on Snapchat and getting caught. That is when he said, "But hold on a second, how did it come out? Snapchat goes away, right?" Then he was told that Snapchat content can be saved, and his face looked stunned and he just went silent. Of course, this was just funny, but seemed a little bit suspicious. The video clip did not age well because in 2020 it resurfaced after different women came forward and accused him of sexual misconduct, claiming that he groomed underage girls online, Snapchat too, with solicitation of nude photos. A horrible time for that clip to resurface because it's basically us witnessing that he realized he could get caught for some of the things that he was doing on Snapchat. That is so twisted.
And at #10 we have Tyra Banks. Tyra Banks got in a lot of trouble in 2020 when old clips of her on America's Next Top Model resurfaced. And in the clips, she's seen talking down to the women, giving them bad advice, and being a hypocrite. One viral clip shows Banks telling contestant Danielle Evans that the gap in her teeth is, quote, not marketable, and she should close it if she wants to get a CoverGirl contract. But then only a few cycles later, Tyra told a different girl to actually widen her gap. You know, completely different stories. In response, Banks tweeted out, quote, "Been seeing the posts about the insensitivity of some past ANTM moments, and I agree with you. Looking back, those were some really off choices. Appreciate your honest feedback, and I'm sending so much love and virtual hugs." And let's just say what she said to the women on the show would definitely not be tolerated today. And at #9, Michael Scott, The Office. Steve Carell's character in The Office is notoriously one of the most politically incorrect characters ever created. And some of the show's most popular episodes center around racially insensitive and sexist stereotypes. One of the show's most offensive episodes is called Diversity Day, where Michael tries to teach the staff to not use racial stereotypes. But he does so by basically discussing every racial stereotype that there is. With the recent rise in popularity of the show, fans are now begging for a reboot. But Carell says the show could not be made today, saying in one interview, quote, "The climate's different. I mean, the whole idea of that character, Michael Scott, so much of it was predicated on inappropriate behavior. I mean, he's certainly not a model boss. A lot of what is depicted on the show is completely wrong-minded. That's the point, you know? But I just don't know how that would fly today." And he is definitely right. That show would be canceled on Twitter in a second if it was made today. And at #8, Robert Downey Jr., Tropic Thunder. This movie is constantly in controversy because Robert Downey Jr. portrayed a black character in the film, even wearing makeup to make him look the part. In the movie, Robert Downey Jr.'s character, Kirk Lazarus, is an Australian method actor who undergoes pigmentation alteration surgery to darken his skin tone in order to play a black character in a war movie. And the fact that Downey Jr. has black skin and features practically the whole movie has been a controversial topic since the movie was released years ago. Downey Jr. spoke about the controversial decision to play the character on an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, saying that initially he had a lot of reservations about playing the character, but his heart was always in the right place. Adding that most of his black friends did not have an issue with the film, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't wrong. Adding that essentially all he can do now is admit it's wrong and be better in the future. And at #7, Jimmy Kimmel. In June of 2020, Jimmy Kimmel apologized after he was exposed for acting in a series of sketches from earlier in his career where he darkened his skin to impersonate black stars, like NBA player Karl Malone and Oprah Winfrey. He said in a statement at the time, quote, "I apologize to those who were genuinely hurt or offended by the makeup I wore or the words I spoke." Also taking the time to criticize those who were using this event as a weapon against his frequent criticism of social issues on his show, which some people felt made him a hypocrite. And at #6, David Letterman's old interviews. Several old interview clips of David Letterman's have resurfaced recently, and many are saying he crossed major lines. One example was with Lindsay Lohan in 2013. She did that interview recently out of rehab, and Letterman persistently asked her questions about it. She said that she didn't want to talk about it, but he kept pressing, leading her to cry. Next up was Janet Jackson. Letterman was pressing her about her infamous Super Bowl incident, asking her questions about how her wardrobe malfunction came to be. Right after she was asked about it, she replied, quote, "I don't want to relive any of that." But Letterman kept asking, while Jackson looked very annoyed. Lastly was an interview with Jennifer Aniston, where Letterman actually tasted a piece of her hair. I'm not sure why anyone would do that, but it was really inappropriate. Thankfully, I don't think any of these interview moments would fly today. Halfway number 5, Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen has won many awards over the years for being nice. Most recently was in 2016 when she accepted a People's Choice Award for Favorite Humanitarian. She said in her acceptance speech, quote, "This is crazy. I mean, so deserved, but this is crazy." I have to say it's a little strange to actually get an award for being nice and generous and kind, which is what we're all supposed to do with one another. That's the point of being human. And what's funny here is that years later, she would be exposed for basically being the most two-faced person alive, with her being called notoriously one of the meanest people in Hollywood, who was rude to guests as well as her own staff. This changed people's perceptions of her so much, people were wondering if she would be able to come back to her show. She eventually did come back to a lot of backlash, and her image hasn't really recovered since. Something tells me she won't be winning any awards for being nice anytime soon. And at number 4, James Charles. James Charles went through one of the worst cancellations of all time in 2019 when he was exposed by one of his good friends, Tati Westbrook, for using his fame and influence to trick straight men into falling for him, with her setting examples of manipulation and even pressuring some men too. Then Jeffree Star famously jumped on the bandwagon and exposed that James had not been allowed in his house, calling him a danger to society. At the time, James released a response video and convinced us these allegations were false, which we ended up believing. However, very recently, James was accused by 2 people for exchanging inappropriate photos with them, with fans specifically calling out the fact that James seems to use his followers as a dating pool, which James ended up addressing on Twitter. And many are now thinking that Tati could have actually been right this whole time, and many of his fans are pushing for him to address the situation further. And at number 3, David Dobrik. David Dobrik has acquired an image of being wholesome and nice from his videos, even though a lot of his videos show dangerous things taking place or even show harmful pranks. One of David's old pranks featuring Seth Francois is now being called out by many for being a form of SA, which is an acronym people are describing the allegation with. This is because in the video, David convinces Seth that he is going to be making out with Corinna Kopf, a girl from the vlog squad that Seth likes. But there is a catch, and she's going to be wearing a mask while they're kissing. The prank ensues, and we learn later that Seth was actually kissing Jason Nash, another vlog squad member, not Corinna like he anticipated. David is currently being called out for the incident on all platforms, but he has yet to address it. People online are adding that it's laughable that he's currently on an anti-bullying tour when he's been accused of this in the past. And at number 2, Bella Thorne. Bella Thorne has long been an advocate of adult performers and creators on sites like OnlyFans, doing what she can to stop the stigma behind the industry. However, that support all went south when Bella joined the platform herself and ended up permanently ruining it. This happened because Bella deceived her fans into thinking that they were getting lewd photos of her when they actually were not, causing a record number of people to request chargebacks. This then caused OnlyFans to change their entire policy on tips and cap the amount creators could receive, permanently hurting those creators. And many people now wish she just never joined the site to begin with. And finally, number 1, Hilaria Baldwin. Hilaria Baldwin was recently exposed for lying about her Spanish heritage, now that old clips are resurfacing where she's using a Spanish accent. It started when one tweet went viral, saying, quote, "You have to admire Hilaria Baldwin's commitment to her decade-long grift where she impersonates a Spanish person." And in the replies of that tweet were tons of videos of Hilaria using a Spanish accent and claiming that she was from Spain. However, internet sleuths got to the truth, and she actually isn't Spanish at all. Her parents just vacationed there a lot growing up and currently live there now. Also, her name isn't even Hilaria. It's actually just Hillary. One clip that went super viral was of her cooking a meal and forgetting the English word for cucumber while speaking in a Spanish accent.
Starting off this countdown, we have Get On Your Feet. In 2014, during a show in Sydney, Kanye West ordered all the concert goers to stand up. He stopped his show to do this and singled out some people who weren't standing. He then told them to stand up. Little did he know that the person was not standing as they were using a wheelchair. It got really uncomfortable really fast and the crowd started booing. Imagine being singled out in front of an entire arena of people for not standing up. Meanwhile, you physically can't. Later, he said, "If you cannot prove to me that you are in a wheelchair, you need to be standing. If you can, it's okay, sit down." In our 9th spot today, we have the inappropriate flag. In November of 2013, Kanye West was spotted wearing a jacket with a Confederate flag on it. People immediately called him out, but Kanye being Kanye, he did not care. He said, and I quote, "React how you want. Any energy is good energy. You know the Confederate flag represented slavery in a way. That's my abstract take on what I know about it. So I made the song New Slaves. So I took the Confederate flag and made it my flag. It's my flag. Now what are you gonna do?" End quote. Now, a lot of people were not too thrilled about this, to say the least. In our 8th spot today, we have Justice. Believe it or not, but Kanye has a habit of interrupting people on award show stages. In November of 2006, during the MTV Europe Music Awards, Kanye went on stage after Justice won Best Video for We Are Your Friends. Kanye was a sore loser because he thought his video Touch the Sky should have won. Why? Because he said it cost $1 million and Pamela Anderson was in it. As he got on stage, he grabbed a mic and yelled, "Oh hell no! Oh hell no!" He then said, "If I don't win, the awards show loses." He then goes on to say, "Nothing against you, man. I've never seen your video. Nothing against you, but hell no." In our 7th spot, we have Pants on the Ground. In 2012, while out with his then girlfriend Kim Kardashian, Kanye West had a pretty embarrassing wardrobe malfunction. The pair were spotted by the paparazzis getting out of a car when Kanye's pants slipped down low. But it left people wondering, why was Kanye's pants undone in the first place? Kim, what was going on in that car? Either way, he handled the malfunction pretty well, but the revealing photos are a little embarrassing. In our 6th spot, we have The Mask. On Super Bowl day, Kanye West was trending after posting a series of tweets calling out ex-wife Kim Kardashian and her new lover, Pete Davidson. Kanye West was later spotted at the Super Bowl with his 2 kids, North and Sate. But you might not have recognized him if you saw him. That's because he was wearing a full-on black face mask covering his entire face. Soon, he became a meme. We still don't know why he decided to wear this mask. Maybe it was because he was trying to hide his face after everything that went down that day. Who knows? But it ended up just attracting more attention to him. In fact, it seems like he regretted wearing it in the end. Comedian Judd Apatow was sitting near Kanye at the game and posted on Instagram a photo of Kanye wearing that mask. He captioned it, and I quote, "I'm sitting near Kanye. He seems very hot and sweaty in that mask. I overheard him say, 'Man, I wish I didn't go with the mask today. But now that I'm in it, I can't really bail on it.'" So not only did he become a meme, but he regretted it because he was sweating and he probably didn't get a good view of the show. And then around halftime, he did end up taking off the mask. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with the paparazzi. It's no shocker that Kanye West doesn't like the paparazzi. I mean, what celebrity really does? But some people handle their encounters better than others. Kanye is not one of them. On multiple occasions, Kanye has been caught attacking and belittling the Pops. In one incident in 2013, Kanye got very physical with a photographer at LAX that kept hounding him with questions. Kanye got upset with him and lunged at the camera, trying to take it out of his hands. He then put him into a headlock and got him on the ground. The photographer reportedly was sent to the hospital after this altercation. And this whole confrontation was captured by other paparazzi members. In our 4th spot today, we have "I'ma let you finish." This is the famous line that Kanye West said to Taylor Swift during the MTV Video Music Awards. Taylor won Best Female Video and Kanye was not pleased. He hopped on stage and grabbed the microphone before saying that Beyonce deserved the award and not her. He said Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. Now, that moment was embarrassing for both him and Taylor. In fact, that was the start of a very lengthy feud between the two. In our 3rd spot, we have Apologize. I'm sure you all are aware of the tragedy that happened at the Travis Scott concert and all the backlash that he received for not stopping the show as people were losing their lives. Well, later on, Billie Eilish was accused of throwing shade at Travis Scott during her recent performance. During her show, she noticed someone at her concert was having trouble breathing. So she stopped the show, waited until the fan got an inhaler, and was okay before continuing on on with the show. In a video clip from the incident, Billy said, and I quote, "I wait for people to be okay before I keep going." That's when Kanye got defensive. He thought she was making a jab at Travis Scott. So Kanye took to Instagram to post a lengthy comment. He said, and I quote, "Come on, Billy, we love you. Please apologize to Trav and to the families of the people who lost their lives. No one intended this to happen. Trav didn't have any idea of what was happening when he was on stage and was very hurt by what happened. And yes, Trav will be with me at Coachella, but now I need Billy to apologize before I perform." So he literally was like, "I'm not gonna perform at Coachella with Billy unless she apologizes." Billy responded with, and I quote, "Literally never said a thing about Travis, was just helping a fan." In our second spot today, we have the bathroom break. In 2008, while guest starring on Conan O'Brien's show, Kanye West randomly revealed that he had to go pee. The two were deep in discussion when he randomly said, and I quote, "Sidebar, I have to use the bathroom really, really bad." I mean, if you gotta go, you gotta go, okay? You can't help it, no shame. But still, his timing was very bad. Conan actually handled it very well though. He said, "It's added a sense of urgency to what you're saying," which I think is valuable, nice one. And in our number one spot today, we have Skeet. Skeet is the nickname that Kanye West has given none other than Pete Davidson. Now, if you follow Kanye on Instagram, you know how wild his posts have been lately. Basically, everything he posts is about Pete Davidson. Now, you gotta stay following him because he will post something and then a couple days or hours later, he'll delete it, so you gotta be quick on that. Well, on Super Bowl Sunday, he posted a series of images calling out Pete, like posting a photo of him and Machine Gun Kelly in their Calvins and captioning it, "No, you'll never meet my kids." His second post revealed a text message he got from Pete. And Pete said he hopes one day he can meet his kids and that they can all be friends. So it seems like Pete is ready to be mature about this whole situation, but Kanye is definitely not.